Alright everyone, welcome to A Lot of Critics, only we're not in the lot this time. We are in
the spoiler zone. I'm Dave.
And I'm Josh.
We're here to talk about Rampage.
Rampage.
If you've seen our lot review, you know we kind of started it
like this.
Where we're like, yeah,
what do you
Rampage.
say? Yeah, what do you
Rampage.
say about Rampage?
I was a little heartbroken by Rampage because I wanted it to be so much more than it was. And it was almost. I would say I still like it, but it's a like that is just above dislike. It's like just like if I have to give it like a 6 out of 10, where 5 would be totally neutral. There's enough in it that I would still recommend it to someone who is like obsessed with monsters and creature movies like I am. There's some good in there. There's some moments. But that's a very light recommendation. It's if it's streaming, check it out. If it's just on and you want to watch it, if you can fast forward to the good parts, check it out. But as a whole, though, it's
a mess. In my opinion, it's a mess. And the more I digest it, because I mean, we saw it when it almost first came out.
Right away,
and we're talking about it. It's gonna be, on Blu-ray soon next week. Do we cut? Cut. Okay. So I mean, talking about how we saw it as it first came out. We're reviewing it now. We've had some time to digest, and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I really didn't like this movie, because there were moments in the movie as I'm like forcing myself to want to like it. I'm just like,
the tone was off.
It was funky. It just was awkward.
It starts off, the first thing that happens is you see like an innocent woman on a spaceship dying horribly for reasons as yet unknown. And this is something that if you have a monster movie and you have people getting killed and eaten, you need to give an audience a reason to like enjoy that, because the point of these movies, that the monsters are going to get people, and it can be very like icky if they're getting innocent people or people who don't deserve it, because then you're just like, why am I supposed to enjoy this? Like, that's the tone is just very like, and there are movies that go for that intentionally make you uncomfortable,
and that's fine.
But this was a summer not summer, but like it's a blockbuster movie.
But as I said, it was kind of like a metaphor. It made sense the way it came out because it had blockbuster aspirations. With having The Rock in it, having it be like this big monster movie based off a video game. I mean, it had that kind of material going into it that made you feel like, oh, this is going to be a 4th of July release. This is, another Transformers movie. It's another one that's going to make money and do well. And it just faltered, and it kind of came out at the appropriate time because it made money because there was nothing else going on then, probably. I mean, it just... And The Rock. If The Rock was... Well, and that's one of my issues. I think one of your issues as well. If The Rock wasn't in it, would it have been better for the movie? It would have been worse for the movie. If The Rock's not in it, do enough people go to see it?
No. It says a lot that they released this when they did. That they didn't release it in the middle of summer. They did it before. And it... So, the things I liked about it. The monsters, the creatures, interesting designs, some good almost sequences. I kept doing this while I was watching the movie. I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, really? It's over? Okay. Okay, here we go. What? That's it? Like, they almost were afraid to let this be a real monster movie.
Yeah.
And every time it started to get to a point where a creature would do something awesome,
yeah,
it would cut to The Rock. and be like, oh, here's The Rock doing something else. Yeah. It's like, no, I'm not here for him. I'm here for them. And the director of this movie he's a Rock director, right?
A Rock,
he's
done San Andreas, yeah. So, yeah, in which I've heard other people tell me that it's another movie in which it's a disaster movie that The Rock takes away from enjoying the disaster moments and, you know, what the movie should be about. And
we should say we like The Rock. I like The Rock.
Oh my gosh,
no problems with The Rock.
Love The Rock. I like his upbringing. I love The Rundown and how he, you know, burst on the scene with The Rundown, Walking Tall, movies like that.
He's a great leading, like this.
He's resurrected the Fast and Furious franchise. I mean, it's
charismatic.
Oh yeah, he's the guy who, you know, that smile. He's just like guys and girls just like. Women love him for his looks, and some guys love him for his looks. I mean, like, look at this guy. He's so...
Yeah.
He's a handsome guy. I mean...
He's The Rock!
He's The Rock.
You can't fault The Rock.
Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, yeah.
And yet, someone as good as him doesn't
This movie
belong.
wasn't meant for him.
It's not his movie.
It's not his movie.
It should have been... The humans should have been a background character in this. They should have been...
Is that a knock on the director then? I think it's more on the director.
Yes.
So for all the hate for all the shade we throw The Rock in this review, it's not for you, guy. It's for the director and misusing his cast. And for just having the cast that he had.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not his fault. He's fine when he's in it. It's just he's in it too much.
Yeah.
And every time he shows up...
He does too much.
He does too much. He takes away, he does...
What the monster should be doing.
Every good monster movie has a throwdown, a huge fight. You call it the Godzilla moment, where you're waiting the whole movie and then there's that big fight, that satisfying throwdown. The Jurassic movies always have a moment like that. Kong had a moment like that. Mm-hmm. Every good monster movie will make you wait, but then they'll give you this satisfying fight. Yes. Rampage did not have that. It made you wait the whole movie, and then The Rock is the one who like does the takedown where he shoots a machine gun. It's very like, let the monsters fight. I'm here to see Rampage, giant monkey, giant wolf, giant lizard. Show me them fighting. Just wreck a city. They didn't even wreck the whole city.
Nope.
They wrecked like a couple blocks. It was a tease. The whole movie was just a tease of like what you could, like, oh, why?
And what you see in the previews is the potential that you see in the movie, where you're like, oh, look at the mayhem going on in the background. Look at what they're doing. Look at, you know, the George running in and slamming. It's like, here we go. This is straight from the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna touch on straight from the game. Good points?
Yes, a couple of things. That scene from the trailers where George, like, body checks a building.
Straight out of the game.
Smashes into it and is knocking the building down. That's like the tease to get you into the theater. You're like, oh, yeah. Like, if that's to the tease, where's it going to go from there? Nowhere. That was like the most damaged. Like, I think a building does get knocked down at one point.
There's a couple. Well, the tower.
It actually does.
The tower they're way up on when he does his
Yeah.
Video game bit.
The other thing is he eats a woman, which is under the original arcade game.
Horrible villain. By the way. We'll touch on that after. But yeah, I don't want to keep bombing it because you liked most of it. You liked some of it.
Yeah, and these are the things I liked because I liked the nods to the games. I liked the decent. Okay, there's one good villain death and one just terrible villain death. There was two main villains in this who I don't even remember their names. It was bad guy girl, bad guy brother. Were they siblings?
Yeah,
who were like evil for the sake of being evil. They were just like, we're bad because we do bad corporate science research for some reason that's never really fully, like, if it is explained, it's done in a way that's very like whatever. And she gets eaten. That was good because that was a nice moment, and it was right out with he kind of like drops her in. That was good. The guy, I think like debris falls on him. And it's like, what? Like, that's what? Just... And the whole movie, I'm like, oh, that was cool. Oh, that was lame. Oh, that was neat. Oh, why'd you do that? Like, very...
And I think the fact that it had too much of that has turned me off from the movie altogether. Where, like, even the glimmers of hope don't pull me in enough.
The wolf scene, though, that was pretty good.
The wolf scene...
The first wolf scene, when the soldiers are going for him.
Like, well, and again, like...
It's not bad. It's
good. That part was really good. But is it funny that didn't seem to fit in the movie?
Yeah,
because all
the
other characters, like everything that happened with George and his upbringing was so soft and fluffy. It was so
well. There was one not so fluffy moment with George's upbringing.
I'm
jumping around too much, but I'm like,
well, because as we start to talk about the good stuff, we get knocked. So I mean, George in captivity.
George's relationship with the Rock.
In the zoo. George in his relationship with the Rock.
Yes.
That's just like a nice flowing story.
Yes.
Good.
That's developed well.
It's developed well.
The rapport between the Rock and George, you get it right away.
You get it, yeah. It's really well done.
Yeah.
So like you have that and then you have the bomb that drops and turns George. So like that all is, it has its tone. And it's basically like The Rock just trying to control what he can in that moment. But in terms of the wolf is kind of the random one that gets hit. His pack is dispersed and a team is, set off to find him, figure out what's going on or whatever. Called from this bad girl who's just, again, terrible. But
Team Evil.
But anyways, this team is pretty cool. And the sequence is really cool in the forest where, like, this team of, rogue assassins, whatever they are.
It's like a SWAT team kind of thing,
and Navy SEALs or whatever. They're just getting eliminated.
Yep.
Like that. And it's really cool. It's very suspenseful. And it's just like a really cool sequence that didn't fit in this movie.
Yeah.
But it was still a really cool sequence. It was, and
the wolf jumping to like get the helicopter, it like kind of does like a leap.
Yes.
That was where I was like, okay, I'm on board for this.
Here we go.
Like, I get it. Like, okay, but then it makes you wait for the next moment like that.
Yes. And then he got, the last guy got,
Yeah, the whole team was just gone. I thought that the lead would be around. The
guy would survive. And he would be somebody that would maybe team with The Rock at the end or something. Right? But they built up stuff and it crumbled down before it could even
a lot of just
get going. I mean,
like loose ends.
Almost. Yeah, and then you have Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character who comes in and is this awkward Texas accent like it just, again, like things that just didn't fit with this movie that were so
he was good,
weird.
He was bad.
Yeah, he was good, he was bad, but he was good again because he likes nobility.
And then he helps him, he stops him.
Just...
Do you remember the airplane sequence when they were like crashing?
Yeah.
Because I checked out at that point. That was when I was like, okay, because I came here for monsters and this is like a 10-15 minute crashing sequence of trying to survive a crashing plane.
I probably checked out at the same time. I remember thinking...
Come on.
And this is funny because I remember thinking while watching this movie, a quarter way through or halfway through, it'd be like, okay, what am I watching? Because I wasn't at the point where I'm like, this is so bad I need to walk out.
Right.
It wasn't, but at the same time I'm like, why should I like this?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why Rampage. I don't know. But it's I mean, this is
so almost.
It's for you. It's almost. For me, it's
below almost.
It's below almost. Like I said, the more I digest it,
I'm very forgiving. I'm very forgiving with creature movies.
But are you forgiving with? Let's go back to George. Are you forgiving with what you started to?
Okay, so
discuss?
back to what I kind of alluded before.
Okay.
Tonally, why? If I'm going to a monster movie, I want to have fun. They're supposed to be fun. I'm going to mention Kong. Kong is a fun movie where there's violence and death, but it's shot in like an adventure movie style where you're like, yeah, I'm into it. It's okay.
So good. So good.
You have to set the right tone. The Jurassic movies, especially Fallen Kingdom, set the right tone for you're going into this, and when people are getting eaten and killed, you're not repulsed by it. You're not turned off by it. It's like, yeah, this is what I came for.
Righteous kill it. Yeah.
In this movie, you feel bad for people. You feel bad for the early victims. You feel bad for a lot of the later victims. And then when they set up why George, it had nothing to do with nothing. It was a completely inconsequential point about George's origin, where he was found.
It's a scene that I felt so uncomfortable.
It was terrible.
I was calling him
really bad.
George's mother getting chopped up
with machetes by multiple people
in the background
as George watches, terrified. Like
you see there's the sunset, like, and then you just see the silhouette.
Yeah,
like it's just.
Why would you show this?
You hear the chopping. And it's like,
yeah. And this scene did not need to be in the movie. The Rock is recounting the story to another character about George.
Why he means so much,
This is not important. You already showed George and The Rock bonding in captivity. Just say he was raised in captivity. That's fine. That's enough. That completes there you go. That's the arc. To have this extra bit of George watched his mother slaughtered in front of him, and then you show the audience that happening in the middle of a movie where you're supposed to be having fun and enjoy. Then the next time you see George rampaging, you're like, oh man, like now I'm thinking about like how much his life was awful and like his poor mom. It's such a strange choice to just it's why.
Why with the opening scene is you talked about it, this opening space scene where like I seriously wondered what movie I was there from. Like, wait, is this Rampage? Is this what movie is this?
I'll give it a few redeeming things. The wolf could fly.
The wolf can fly.
That was cool. The wolf, he shot like spikes off of his back at one point, I think, or was that the lizard that did that? I think the lizard shot the spikes.
I don't remember.
Again, this speaks to like how much of an impact and how briefly they use their powers.
Not just how briefly they use their powers, but how gray they were.
You couldn't tell who was who because the movie was almost black and white. It was gray. Just like
it was rubble.
Bland.
And I get, if you want to be clever with a movie that's Rampage, it's about destruction, and you want to have so much rubble, but identifying characters.
Yeah. The
crocodile in the game, the lizard in the game, is green. He is visibly green.
Yep. There's no reason this movie couldn't have had color. I blame the cinematographer for this. This is something that really just a poor choice for the coloring of this movie. I don't know why. And again, serious? Did they want it to be more serious? Because why? Because it's a movie about mutated monsters destroying cities. So why do you want it to be serious? But just like the film, they couldn't decide what tone they wanted.
Exactly. And it's based on a video game that you could take 5 minutes to play.
It's not a video game.
And you'd get all the enjoyment in the world because it's just wrecking and destroying. And the wolf, Ralph, he's based on, or Wreck-It Ralph is based on, like, that's how much this game means to people. That's how much this game is so iconic. It's that video game that so many people have played as kids. It's just Rampage. That's all it is smash, crash, bang. That's all you need to do. This movie tried to get so deep and it got so awkward. And
did it even try to make a statement? Was there ever like, it never quite got into animal rights. It sort of seemed like it was anti like animal trafficking with the mother thing, but like it never
blockbuster. That's what it was. This is how you mock a blockbuster movie and you make it bad.
I mean and again, if you love well, if you're watching this, you've probably already seen it. Or you just heard all the bad things about it and you're checking this out to see why it was bad. But if you haven't seen it and you're just checking it out and you love monster movies, it is, I would say personally, it's worth a stream. It's worth checking out if you're just the kind of thing you want to just put on. Don't even pay attention to it. Kind of like put it on while you're eating dinner, and then when there's like a monster scene, watch it, and then when it cuts away from that, all right, whatever. Yeah. Because the brief bits that were there had such potential, and the small moments still did make me be like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But it was more of a missed opportunity. It was just so much what could have been. So yeah,
I give it a skip it. I mean,
skip it completely. Don't even bother with it.
If you're interested and you want to see it, if you wanted to see it, go see it for yourself. But if you're on the fence, if you're like, is this worth watching? I would say no.
Yeah.
I would say it's a jumbled mess. It's a bad early '90s movie that couldn't get off the ground. It just it had star power with The Rock, but he wasn't enough to save this movie. And at times, as we've discussed, he was the fault of it not being as good as it should have been. Because
what if you love The Rock? What if you're like a super hardcore Rock fan and you're like into him and not monsters? Like, I'm monsters, whatever, but I love The Rock. Would you say go?
Yeah, I guess.
Is it okay?
Yeah, because he's good in it.
And he does enough?
Yeah, he does enough. He does enough to make, add this to his resume of, his action movies. But if you're going in this as like a fan of film or, although critics gave it a 50, I mean...
Did it have like a decent...
Yeah, it had an okay score, but that may have been The Rock star power. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it just... To me, it was too awkward and too disappointing of a movie. And mind you, I did not have high expectations going into seeing it. I was seeing it for the purpose of reviewing it and seeing what I would get out of it. I wanted to be surprised. I wanted to be proven wrong, but it just... It was not as good as I thought it would be. It was worse, I think, and...
Wanted to love it. I think we both wanted to love it.
Yeah, I wanted to give it a chance. I mean, earlier in the year, we had Pacific Rim Uprising, which was, I had moderate expectations. I knew I was like, all right, this should be good. And then I walked out like, whoa! Yep. And this, I walked out like, no!
Yeah. When I turned to you after it over, I was kind of like, it was all right. And you were like, no.
Yeah.
No. I was like, oh, no. Because it really depends on, it depends on what angle you come at it from. Monster movie fan, film fan, rock fan. Not the worst movie I've seen, not...
No, exactly. It's not bad, because...
It's borderline bad. It's competent. It's like... It's almost... It's right on the line.
Yeah.
It's right on the line.
It's watchable. It's not, like, completely...
Too many writers, I think. Too many
cooks in the kitchen,
rewritten. It feels like there was something awesome at one point that got trimmed, and Hollywood... And then we ended up with what we got.
Worth researching as well to see who wanted what.
I think this did have a couple, like, more than a few credits for the writing team.
I remember discussing it, yeah.
So, but, Rampage.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching us talk about Rampage. We appreciate it. As always, if you like the channel, give us a like, a subscribe. Really, really helps because we're a new channel and we're doing our best here and we're having a great time. So thank you, and we'll see you next time. And a lot of critics.
Spoiler zone.
Rampage.